Hello everyone. I think it's finally worked. Okay, now we back to our topic. Can't wait. Okay, I give you very brief introduction of who we are. CRS is leading product safety regulation consultant firm, founded in 2007. Our headquarters is based in Hangzhou, China, and currently I'm in our European quarter, which is in Dublin, Ireland. And we also have subsidiary in US American and also CRS Korean as well. In Nanjing and in Hangzhou, we have our testing center. And also the office in Beijing is in charge of the medical device sector. Okay, so our service including, of course, EU REACH, China REACH, K-REACH, and all the Asian Pacifics. And of course, we cover the global GHS and testing service and so on. Okay. Let's go to the next page. Now, K-REACH brief. So in today's topic, I'm going to give a very brief introduction about the K-REACH. I'm pretty sure you all know by this stage. And then grace period, K-REACH pre-registration, I won't spend much time on that either. Late pre-registration, that's only just some information. So I'm going to spend lots of time on the safe roles and also the case study of the K-REACH. That's the main purpose for today. And then I give you some update coming events as well from CRS. Okay, for the K-REACH system, I quite like that picture actually. As you can see, the Act on the Regulation, Registration, and the Evaluation of Chemical, basically that's known as Korean REACH, passed the plenary section of the National Assembly in Korea on April 30, 2013, and has come into force on the January 1st of 2015. So 2016 December, the Ministry of Environment started to review the K-REACH, and amendment K-REACH came into force from January 1st of the 2019. That's just background of the K-REACH. And I think the picture shows very clear from different substance, how you're going to do with the new chemicals or the existing chemicals, where they actually go. So basically, so that actually shows, as I mentioned, that you can register both new and existing chemicals, which also have different obligation depending on the tonnage of the substance. So either notification or registration. The main difference is the level of data required for each. For example, the lowest tonnage band for new chemical is less than 1 ton per year. Only basic information is requested. So I'm going to go to the next one. And this one you can see, that's the, on your left hand side, that's the confirmation letter of K-REACH pre-registration has been issued by CRS. So I would like to thank you to our Korean colleagues. They have been working really hard for over 2,800 substances pre-registered under K-REACH. Actually, lots of them were done in the very last 2 weeks before the deadline. So we really appreciate for their hard work. And on the right-hand side, for pre-registration dossier update, that including the basic information, that's the tonnage information, importers information, classifications, and consumer use information. I think CRS, from our perspective, we can free update twice for those basic informations per year. For the late registration, actually there's no official statement yet from the government authority for late registration, but we can currently operate still if less than 1 ton each year of 2016 to 2018. Again, we would do it by case-by-case basis. Okay, for next one, that's the grace period. I'm sure you know this information as well. It shouldn't be something new. On this slide, you can see further expanded timeline involving registration of substance per tonnage band. So the grace period that you would receive on pre-registration would similar mention these days. I think this is old information, so that's why I didn't spend much time on it. Again, if you want the slide, you can require after the webinar. That shouldn't be a problem. You have all these information. Okay, now we come to the point today, which is the safe rows. This is something I'm going to spend time on about. So basically, that's just the definition of each row. So we have the lead registered, we have the active members, we have the passive members, and also we have the dormant. Dormant is just the late registered. So they are actually duty different compared to EU REACH. So that's why I want you actually go through the definitions. I don't want to read them actually, but it is important for active members. IR would be very similar role as in the EU REACH. So IR will lead the formation and work of the consortium and joint submission of substance, such as releasing SIP, CL, and CNL classification, and so on. So basically, for the IR duty would be in charge all this dossier preparation and also submission of the documents, and also the preparation of the CSR, setting ROA. That's the all the LR's duty. And for the active member will participate in the formation and work of the consortium as a member of the consortium. So the active member actually have to work together with the LR in the consortium, and also they would share the profit as well. And at the same time, you have the spending too. So all this cost of the dossier and CSR preparation would share together by the lead registered and also the active members. So I'm not read all these definitions, you can go through yourself, but basically that's their duties. So for passive members will participate in the relevant work of joint submission without joining the consortium. So basically for the passive members, they would have to purchase the LOA, and again they don't have the from the consortium, but they also can participate in the joint submission as well. The last one is dormant, late registration. So if an enterprise has no registration intention, it will not participate in the relevant work of joint submission, and it will not join the of course it will not join the consortium as well. Well, for the dormant, basically you don't have any rights. You have to purchase the ROA, and also potentially you have to purchase for the CSR if it's not including for the LR submission. Okay, the next one. Okay, this is the sacral comparison. So basically, it shows all the advantage and disadvantage and the cost structure as well. I think I've mentioned from the last slide as well. Basically, LR has a similar role compared to the EU REACH. LR has a decision right, and LR can complete the registration first and also get reimbursement, and also the final input cost of the LR could be lower because you actually get paid from the LOA. Of course, that's a similar thing in the EU REACH. The disadvantage would be LR needs to invest more for relevant expense in the early period. And I think that's the same thing apply to the active members. So the active members also has decision right, and they own the data the same as the lead registered as the LR. But active members may also complete the registration first and also get reimbursement, and final input cost could be lower. That's why it is important if you're choosing the roles for LR and an active member. Again, active member need to invest more for relevant expense in the early stage. As I mentioned many times, LR and active members, they actually share all the cost and share all the incomes as well. So for passive members, passive member has no decision right, no data ownership, no registration initiative, and no reimbursement either. So basically, you have to purchase the LR. In certain circumstances, so the individual CSR is required. So it depends on the situation. In that way, the overall cost could be even higher than the LR and active members. The cost structure obviously going to be the ROA fee and consulting fee, and potentially the CSR required as well. For the dormant, which also called the late registered, obviously is unable to get up-to-date registration information, and the same thing, they have to purchase for the LOA fee, and CSR fee, and consulting fee as well. You can have this information in hand. I'm not going to read every single line of the details. Okay, general procedure of the joint registration. This is only just to show what's actually going on. I think everyone aware of that. I'm not going to spending time on it. So that's the form consortium, elect the lead registered, prepare registration, submission by LR, and apply individual submissions. Okay, now we go to something serious. Let's do the case study. The first example I'm going to give you is let's count. So actually 9 members altogether. Okay, so in the consortium, there are actually 4 members, including the. Okay, let's just see the. Please have a look on the dark blue ones on your left-hand side. So this including the LR, which is the registered number 1, and also registered number 2, 3, 4. They are the active members. They actually together in the consortium. So as I have mentioned, they participate in preparation of activities, and also they are liability to pay cost up in front. At the same time, they participate in risk assessment, and also they have the ownership of the produced data. So on the right-hand side, you have the 3 passive member, and also the 2, that's the late registration, so also called the dormant. So they do not participate in preparation. In that case, they will need to purchase the LOA for the registration, and also they may not able to participate in the risk assignment. That means they may have the actual cost on the CSR. Okay, now I'm sorry, there's lots of numbers. Okay, just don't be freaking out. We're gonna walk through from each line. Give a little bit background. I think that would help you to understand where this comes from. So basically, as I have mentioned, there are 4 members in the consortium, and the other 3 passive members as well. So altogether, there's 7 members, but also plus 2 the late 2 dormant as well. So this case working on 2-year basis. So for the next year, 2020 and 2021. So all the cost would be separate in 2 years as well. That could be causing a little bit confusing, but I go through with you. Okay, let's start from the left-hand side, consortium. So from the top of the consortium management, we have the rough figure here is the $70,000 US. That's just rough figure. You don't have to care that much about this actual number. We have to have a number to go through with it. But anyway, so this 70,000 for the consultant for the management fee is there by 2 years. So then you can see it. Under that is 2020. You have US dollar 35,000, and 2021 the same US dollar 35,000. And under that line is data cost of US dollar 200,000. Again, this is just a rough figure we're gonna put over here. And the CSR cost is 30,000 US dollars. So you have to, we mentioned here, it's very clear on the bottom of that, that's 2021 US dollar 30,000. That means the CSR cost is in the year of 2021. Okay, so total expense $300,000 is come from the total cost of the management fee, the data cost, and CSR cost altogether is 300,000. So divided by 2 years, 2020, we paid 235,000, and 2021 we paid 65,000 US dollars. That come to cost per member. So as we can see in 2020, it cost, because there's 4 members in the consortium. So basically on 2020 it would be 2,335,000 divided by 4 is 58,750, and on 2021 it's 65,000 US dollar divided by 4 for each member. Cost is 16,250. So we put those 2 years together, the total cost of each member in the consulting is 75,000 US dollars. Okay, I hope you following me anyway. I'll try to slow down a little bit. And now we come to the reimbursement. That's the yellow line over here. So to come to reimbursement, you will need to calculation of the ROA cost. So just remember here, you don't have to do any mark here. We have the yellow line here. Let's go to the middle section for the calculation of the ROA cost. Then we come back for, once we get ROA cost, then we know how to work out on the reimbursement. So hopefully you still follow me through anyway. So for the calculation of ROA cost, the total expense of the US dollar cost is for 2 years, as you can see, 350,000 US dollar is come from the consortium expense, which you can see that's matching the one on the left hand side, and also the data cost. Of course, that's the same as the left hand side, 200,000, and the CSR cost, that's the matching the left hand side, 30,000 as well, and sweat equity cost. That's something new. I have to mention that. That is because under the carriage, they would request all this meeting would be represented in person. So, for example, for the OR, they will need to be in the meeting in person. So that's actually a lot of the actual cost on expense. And again, the 50,000 US dollar is just a rough figure. We have to put it in, make sure you know there is actual cost on that. So we put 4 things, these 4 together: consulting expense, data, CSR, and sweat equity. Altogether is the total expense of 350,000 US dollars. With that in mind, we divide by 7 members. The 7 members is 4 in consortium, and also 3 as puzzle members. So together it's 7. So 350,000 divided by 7, you come for the cost of the ROA is 50,000 US dollars. As you can see, the ROA cost is US dollar 52,000. Okay, this is just the cost of selling 50,000 plus the ROA handling fee. That's for the consultancy. So now we can have the total cost of the ROA sold. So each member of the ROA cost is 50,000 euro. Sorry, $50,000. So we have 3 puzzle members. So multiplied by 3 times, that's 150,000 for the reimbursement for the consultant. So there you go. Can come to the yellow line on the left hand side, on the in the blue box. So you can see the reimbursement to each member is the US dollar 150,000 from the ROA divided by 4. That is 37,500 US dollars for each member. So after that, that's money spent by each member. So that means the money they have spent already minus the reimbursement, because reimbursement is the money, it's their income. So basically, they have already spent money on 75,000 in total. So if they minus the income of the ROA, which is 37,500 euro, the money spent for each member have left for the number of 37,500 12,500. So I hope you still follow me. And then now let's go to the middle section again. That's the too late registered. That's the dormant. So let's see how much cost for the dormant. So the LA cost for one dormant is US dollar of 60,000 US dollars. The reason for that is the cost of saving is LOA cost, which is 50,000 US dollar, and also consulting LOA handling fee is 2,000 euro for the consultancy, and individual CSR cost. Well, again, this is a rough figure. Potentially, you would have to pay the CSR as this is not necessary including by the consultant. So potentially you would have, may not necessary for the individual CSR cost as 8,000 US dollar. So you add altogether is come with a total of the LOA cost of the late registry is US dollar of 60,000 US dollar then. And this 6,000 US dollar each would come to the reimbursement as well. Okay. Again, you only take the 50,000 of the LOA cost by two late registered members. So that's 100,000 US dollars divided by 4. Then again, you get this figure of the income of the 25,000 US dollars for each member. So finally, you got the final figure of this money spent for each member is spending money, which is, from the last session, 30,500 US dollar minus the 25,000 US dollar. Then you have the total spend of each member is 12,500. So that's the final figure. Okay, I think if any party don't understand, you just put a little question mark over there, and you can, after the webinar, you can even ask me or ask any of our member staff in CRS. We're more than happy to explain to you. For the total spend of the carriage, the very right-hand side, okay, I'm not going through the numbers. This one is not including for the LR cost, but as you can see, this just put the numbers into the column that you can see it clear. Okay. I'm really sorry, we have another example. But this one, it seems a little bit easier than the first one anyway. So this is quite common as well. So I'd rather mention that. Just please be patient. For this one, the difference is, as you can see right in front of you, we have the lead registered as the number one registered. We have only one in the consultant. So the consultant would be the only one LR. And then we have 3, 2, 3, 4 that we have like registration 2, 3, 4, they all passive members. So 3 passive members and 2 dormant, so 2 late registered. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Again, that seems a lot of numbers, but if you understand the last one, this one is fairly easier compared to what we have done. Okay, again, let's go from the left-hand side. This is the consultant. As I have mentioned, the consultant only have 1 LR. There's 0 active members. So on the consultant management fee, that's the very same. The raw figure is 70,000 US dollars, which divided by 2 years in 2020 and 2021. The date cost is US dollar 200,000 US dollars. Again, this is all raw figures, so you don't have to be really accurate about the numbers. That's just try to help you to understand. And we try the same. CSR cost is 30,000 US dollars, and then this is the money had to pay in 2021 as this is the project for 2 years. That means the project for 2020 and also 2021. Okay, for total expense for LR is the US dollar 300,000. I think for this stage we should understand this 300,000 is come from the total cost of the consulting management fee. and also plus the data cost, and also plus the CSR cost. So you got a total figure of 300,000, which paid by 2 years. So on the bottom, you can see in 2020 paid 235, and then 2021 you pay 65,000 US dollars. And now again, we come to this yellow line. That is the reimbursement. So the reimbursement, obviously, we're going to need to work out on the calculation of the ROA. Now, so from this stage, we go to the middle section again. Okay, that's the middle section is the calculation of the ROA cost. Okay, hope this looks familiar for you. The total expense of the joining registration is US dollar 320,000. This is come from the consulting expense plus the data cost plus the CSR cost plus the sweat equity cost. So put all them together, you get a figure of 320,000 US dollars. And cost of sharing per SIEF. So you have 4 members. Remember, we have the consulting, which is only 1 LR, plus the 3 passive members. So you got 4 altogether, and this is the total cost of 320,000 divided by 4. You got 80,000 US dollars for each member. So the ROA cost will be 80,000 US dollars plus the 2,000. Plus 2,000 euro. That's for the handling fee for the consultant. So that 2,000 not go to the consultant. That 2,000 go to the consultancy. So now we can work out for 3 times of the ROA cost, which is 80,000 US dollar multiplied by 3 times for the consultant, which you will get 240,000 US dollars. Now this is the figure on your left hand side for the reimbursement for the consultant. So as I mentioned, there's only 1 LR in the consultant, so he doesn't have to share this money with anyone. So the LR would get all this 240,000 US dollar as the reimbursement. Okay, now we're going to work out on the dormant, which is the late registrant. So the ROA cost of 1 late registrant is US dollar of 90,000. This is very similar as the first case. So the cost of sharing the ROA is 80,000 US dollars, and then again plus the consulting ROA handling fee, that's 2,000 US dollars, and that's the third part is the individual CSR cost. Again, this is a rough figure. You may have to pay that. You may not have to pay that. It's just rough figure. We put it here. Just make sure you know this is the potential cost involved with the dormant or late registration. So again, this 8,000 need to be counted in if this is one of the requests of it. So it make up the total cost of the dormant is 90,000 US dollars. But again, let's back to the left hand side. So we have 2 dormant members. So the 2 dormant would have totally of 2 times 80,000 US dollars, which is 160,000. Again, this 160,000 only go to 1 consultant. That's just the LR. So the LR would get the 160,000 US dollars as a reimbursement. So at the end, you work out money spent by each member. Each member, I mean just the LR, is minus US dollar 100,000. The reason for that is this is work out for the money you have been spent to minus the money you made, like to minus the reimbursement money. So after the passive member, the money we spent for the LR is 60,000 US dollars. So 60,000 US dollars minus the 2 late registered, which the reimbursement is 160,000 US dollars, is actually you get minus 100,000 US dollars. that means the IOR make hundreds thousand US dollars. Again, this is just examples. All these numbers is just the figure we give to you. Just try to make you understand the beneficial for being the LR and being the active member. As first 2 years, obviously there is the expense involved, but after 2 years, potentially it will cost a lot more money for the passive members and the late registered. So actually, you could potentially even make money. In this case, yes, the LR has been make 100,000 US dollars during this consulting duty. Okay. I think I need a break. I think everyone probably need a break as well. So after this, I have the data requirements, which I don't want to go through. I just want to give you all these informations as okay. Actually, the time's already passed out. No, it's already 40 minutes. Okay, this is the information I want you to have. I'm not really going to go through all these data requirements. As you know, this is the same thing as the year reach. As the tonnage band per year go over, and more testing and more data would be required. I just want to mention one thing, that under the under the K reach, the testing result from the EU reach would be considered acceptable under K reach. So the testing report from the EU GLP lab is important for your K reach registration. Okay. Again, this is that requirement. That's for different ones for the healthy dieters. Okay. Now, I just mentioned at the last. I just want to mention this is the K-Reach help desk we have. This is basically on our website. It is free as part of the K-Reach support we're going to offer. Again, this is the same thing. K-Reach inventory searching tour. So this is all the free information you can get from CRS from our website. And also, of course, you are more than welcome to contact me or contact any members of CRS office. We'd be more than happy to support you. Oh, upcoming events. That's also important. Just spend 20 seconds on these two important events. The first one is Asian Helsinki Chemical Forum, and also the chemical regulation in Asian Pacific is hosting by CRS and also the Helsinki Chemical Forum together. So this is in October 24 and 25th, 2 days in Shanghai, China. If you're around, you're more than welcome to join. You can find the register line online. You can find the link under that picture. And also the other one is the EU Asian Chemical Regulation Conference. This is hosted in Dublin, Ireland. As this is our headquarters in Europe, we are going to be there. You're more than welcome to come. I'll make sure you enjoy every bit of the visit, and also I'll be really welcome for all of you to come. Again, thank you so much for your attention. I know I have been actually spent a little bit more time than I should, but you can find my contact details at the last page. Hopefully, we'll see you shortly next time. Okay. Thank you so much.